making our jack-o'-lantern, which will be a Ryzen jack-o'-lantern, as it is October. Everybody, welcome to the Monday afternoon live stream. My name is Connor.
I am Andrew, and tonight we're building El Rey Del Muerto.
I passed that off because I didn't know how to pronounce
El Rey Del Muerto. I took 2 semesters of Spanish. That is 100% correct. So this is a workstation designed for Adobe Suite and 1080p 144Hz gaming. It's designed in particular for the Adobe Suite, 3D printing, slicing models, stuff like that. Laser engraving, AR, augmented reality, as well as VR, virtual reality. And on the gaming side, we got some RTS, RPG, FPS, high fantasy, sci-fi, horror. Basically, I think that covers almost every game.
I think that's everything. Yeah.
That's pretty much every game
MMO.
covered. So lots of gaming and 3D printing. I'm on board with this. This is actually very similar to my computer. I'll talk about it as I go, which has a very similar use case. So we are centered around an AMD Ryzen 7 3700X CPU, same one I have, as an 8-core, 16-thread processor, boosting up to 4.1 gigahertz. We have a Be-Quiet Dark Rock 4 to cool that, which both will be installed in a Gigabyte B550 Aorus Pro AC motherboard with 16 gigabytes of Team T-Force Vulcan Z DDR4 3200. Has a very long memory name. I didn't even say it all. We have a 512 gigabyte NVMe as well as a 1 terabyte NVMe for games that you play a lot, and a 4 terabyte WD Black.
It's the other end of the table. I can't get it.
That's a mechanical hard drive for more bulk or long-term storage, or maybe some bigger Warzone type games, which can no longer fit on a 256 gig
SSD. Yep.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll get into that.
There's a lot to get into. We have an EVGA RTX 2070 Super 8 gigabyte. I think this is the exact same card I have at home. This build is eerily close to mine. We have a Corsair RM 750 watt. Again, very similar to the unit I have. I think Chris just copied my computer. We have a Frac Design Metrify C black and 3 Fantex fans installed that keep everything nice and chilly. So yeah, Connor's getting started.
I'm jumping on into it. We changed up a few things on the stream, so let us know if you guys actually like that. We're trying to go with some ambiance, some good music running in the background. And yeah, and let us know how all that goes. Chris is behind the camera, ish. Well, he is behind the screens over in that direction. He is monitoring all of the chats.
You guys know he has 4 monitors. It's not excessive.
Well, he's got 3 and a TV.
Yeah.
And I think that's a bigger flex than 4 monitors.
Which I basically donated that TV for
We have another Be-Quiet screwdriver.
So yeah, this is so my home config is a 3700X, a 2070 Super. I have 32 gigs of RAM because I wanted all the slots filled because I have more money than sense sometimes. I have an 850 watt Corsair unit. It's an RMX, so still very similar to this one. Yeah, I have a Gigabyte X570 board, so it's still very similar. Just different chipset.
Gotta get some SATA data out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't forget some SATA power.
Yep. But no, what I'm trying to say here is this is a very good config. Otherwise, I wouldn't have chosen it myself, obviously. So yeah. Get this done.
So I want to use this. There we go.
Oh yeah, SATA harness. Have we ever run a Molex harness? I don't think we have.
No. The only time we've had to was, I think, one of the CPU coolers that we used a while back, and it was before.
I've had it on my custom loop pump. My old one had a Molex connector.
And this too. It's so annoying.
I think it's technically rated for more current is the reason over SATA.
I think it's also, and this is kind of a weird, but I think it's also a cleaner source, or like a more steady power source rather than SATA.
I don't know. Starting to push it.
Hey, that is fair.
8-pin CPU?
Yes. Single 8.
Single 8. Gen 4. Which was yesterday.
You're right. It actually was.
It was my birthday, so I know that.
Ah. Yes, you jumped out of the plane.
I did. I went skydiving for my birthday. It was very, very fun, scary. Not really as scary as I would have thought. Very fun experience. Very different.
Not eventful, which is always good.
Yeah. I'm still here. I told people ahead of time if I'm not logged into Skype, Skype for Business on Monday morning, just assumed something went wrong. So
Didn't make it. Well, made it. Just made it too hard.
Yeah, well, yeah, made it too quickly.
Made it too quick.
Or up a tree or something. But no, all good. Very, very safe. Actually, only about 12 deaths a year from skydiving. Not that bad compared to car crashes.
I have a buddy who's a pilot. We were talking about doing like skydiving things and like that, and he
Preston?
would do what?
Preston?
No. Oh no. But he was so funny because he's like, I will never willingly jump out of a perfectly good airplane.
Yeah, okay. I see that from a pilot.
And I was like, yeah, I can kind of actually see.
Believe me, the
But
pilot did not jump out. He kept flying.
That's good.
We, I think we were at 15,000 feet when the doors opened, and then you drop a little bit while you're jumping, while people are jumping. So we jumped from about 14,000 feet. Yeah,
I was gonna say, you can't go much higher than that because you're gonna run into
no,
some oxygen
that's
issues.
getting near the top of that airplane's range. So. Yeah, good times, and I'm still here building computers, so nothing too bad went wrong. So let's see. I don't know if we know exactly what Adobe Suite's programs this will be used for. I would guess stuff like Illustrator, maybe some Photoshop. Just based, and that's based on the laser engraving and 3D printing stuff. You can actually design your own prints, especially in Illustrator. You make vector files and then convert them either to STLs or EPS files, and then send those to your machine of choice.
Yep.
Yeah, this will be great for all those cores. When I had my old computer, it was a 4790K from what was that 2014, 2015?
It's 14 or 15, yeah.
Which was a quad-core hyper-threaded processor. I had it about 4 gigahertz, but it's much slower than what I have now, this same 3700X. And the slicing times on my 3D prints just dropped drastically when I upgraded. And that's nicer than you might think, save a few minutes. So I've got our power supply. I'm gonna go ahead and install that in the bracket actually. What is this?
Music, hopefully. Hopefully. There's a big hope on that one.
A lot of dead air going on here.
Chris is chilling, hopefully monitoring that.
Yeah. Hopefully it screws out that I need.
But yes, now, as Andrew mentioned, and I'm sure many of you probably have saw, Call of Duty Warzone
Oh yeah.
does not fit on a 250 gig SSD anymore.
Yep. So the way that SSDs work in particular, this is still present on a traditional mechanical drive, but not as severe. So SSDs have to save and hide part of their real capacity so that it can be used for shuffling data around during garbage collection, as well as wear leveling on the NAND so that you don't wear out certain flash chips first. And due to that, you end up with if you have a 256 gig SSD, it ends up being something more along the lines of, what is it, like 230 gig, something like that?
Yeah, it's about like 230 or
Maybe
something,
a tiny bit less.
give or take.
But TLDR, if you have Windows installed on that now, and then you try to install Warzone, it don't fit. The game.
Literally not fit.
Now, is it just the Warzone part, or is it if you have both games?
No, it's
I'm not
both.
sure.
It's
I think it's both.
So it's not the free Warzone multiplayer experience. It's the actual game itself.
Okay. But TLDR, if you install the whole game, because they're both parts of the same game.
Well, you can install one separately from the other.
Yeah, but if you try to install everything on that game, you can't on that drive. You will need a larger drive or pick one of the other parts installed.
Yep.
Andrew,
Yes.
be careful with the chair. You don't want to back into this.
Oh, that's true. Oh, I'll give the boss wall some space. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. I'm still high on adrenaline.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have sort of mixed feelings on a game being well over 200 gigabytes.
And it doesn't need to be either.
No,
which is,
I think a lot of that is just they haven't optimized their download and install sizes.
I mean, there's a big conspiracy theory going on around here, so we're putting on our conspiracy theory
Okay,
hats.
here, I don't know if I've heard this, so I'm excited. Go ahead.
So developers are now making their games larger and larger to make you uninstall competitors' games. So someone broke down the new PS5. It has about 650 gigs of space. Actual usable is going to come down to maybe just shy of about 500 is what they're guesstimating, safely.
Yeah.
Safe guesstimate.
Huh.
And if you install Call of Duty Warzone, that is almost half of your SSD.
Yep.
Then you install Cyberpunk 2077. That is I believe, 80 gig game is
Yeah,
what it's supposed
it's
to
gonna
be.
be like close to 100. It's also worth noting the size of your download versus the size of your install are different.
Yep. And then there's a few games that I have not. Oh yeah, Miles Morales is 140 gigs.
Okay.
So right there is basically almost your entire
that's
hard drive in 3 games.
Yeah. So when I was getting into building PCs, my first computer had only a mechanical drive. Later, I did upgrade, quote unquote, to a 120 gigabyte SSD for installation of OS and key applications. It's a term you heard a lot back then, we don't hear much anymore. But
It's true.
because you got about 100 gigs after formatting overhead, like I said earlier. It was expensive. It was like $90 for 120 gig. It wasn't as fast as the ones now, but it was a heck of a lot faster than booting Windows off a hard drive.
I actually remember when I upgraded from that. I had I bought an SSD originally, but it was not a good SSD. You know,
Yeah.
it was like just early adoption, and
Yeah,
it was garbage.
it's like SATA 2 stuff.
Yep.
No, my first one was actually splurged on a 940 Evo.
Ooh.
I looked up my Newegg receipt for that recently. It was $92 with tax for 128 gigs of blazing fast SSD.
Blisteringly
goodness.
fast.
Yeah, but so it kind of, when I hear that this game is over 200 gigabytes, it's like, man, that's so excessive.
Well, what's great about it, and this is, I actually own the game.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, and I actually do enjoy playing it. It's kind of a fun game. But the issue is, they just had an 86 gig update, right?
Yeah.
Which makes no sense to me, considering
No.
the game is like 200, whatever. But then once you get into the game, you have to then let the shaders install still.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Okay, part of
you
that-
just did an 86 gig.
Is it downloading during that time, or is it just unpacking and...
It says
Installing.
installing, that's all it says. And you
It's-
gotta wait like 10-ish minutes for them
Yeah.
to install the shaders.
It sounds
it's like, really?
It sounds like it downloaded the files with the update, and then it's decompressing and installing the files.
But yeah, so the theory is basically they're making their games bigger and bigger because they don't need to be that big. You look
Yeah.
at, I mean, mind you, and I know this isn't a great example, but Fall Guys is, I think, less than a gig.
Oh, it's like 600
Yeah, it's like
megabytes.
600 meg. Mind you, they don't have like the texture budgets and
Yeah,
physics
it's
engines and all that.
most of the
jazz,
size
but-
is model data and asset, like textures, basically, is what makes up most of the game size.
And one of the other big ones, and this is where Warzone comes in, is texture mapping and like physics mappings
Yeah.
for the actual map itself.
So, like a quick, from the point of view of someone who has at least some programming experience, let's say you want to draw like a brick wall. If you can just sort of fake it in code by telling it to draw red and orange boxes for this expanse, that uses virtually no disk space as opposed to having a brick wall texture that you then map onto the model in game. So they're trying to make it look good and all that, and that's great, but like...
And then you got to throw on your clipping so that you can't have a player run into it, like it's actually physics based.
Yeah, but it's always been a balancing game in terms of like memory usage and disk usage. But it seems like they're just going the full. This was a problem with original Crisis. You can't just full send it. People need to be able to play it unless that's your marketing strategy, which I would also believe for COD Warzone.
Yeah, and I mean at the same time too is. Sorry, I'm trying to get this.
You're good.
Set it in, slot it in.
Yeah, it just.
There we go.
I would believe that's part of their marketing to have a big game. Everyone, no press is bad press. People are talking about it. We're talking
fair.
about it.
That is fair.
I just downloaded Star Wars Squadron came out.
I just got that too.
Yeah, my friend and I have been playing the crap out of it. I got it Thursday night, whenever it released at midnight. I had it pre-installed. I played it Friday evening. Great game, awesome. I love it. Especially, I played it in VR.
Oh, I haven't tried the VR.
I got-
aspect of it.
After about an hour, I had to take the headset off, and that was it for the night. But very good game. Anyway, it's less than 40 gigs. It's
Yeah.
about 36, 38, something like that. I
But
think.
mind you, there's not a lot of that needs to be done. I mean,
So there's a fair amount of textures, all the different ships and the skins.
no,
and
there
all
are a
stuff,
lot
but
of
it's-
textures, but there's not like the maps and things don't.
Yeah, a lot.
I've noticed the collision mapping is not phenomenal.
Well, like when you think about, they don't have to put grass on the road. They don't have to put dirt on the ground. They don't have to have tree textures. But I guess my point is, you can still make a really good looking game if you if you adjust your concept and your how things work for it. But we're just kind of ranging on this one, so whatever.
Yeah, it's fair.
So this is actually the exact same graphics card that I have in my machine at home. The 2070 EVGA 2070 Super XC Ultra, what's it, Plus, Ultra Plus, I think, gaming. It's a triple slot, so it's a nice chonky air cooler. It's got RGB on the top logo and kind of around the fans here. It's a nice card. I like it.
Can't
Otherwise,
like
I wouldn't
that.
have
It
it.
works really well.
What do you mean?
That's why we chose it.
Yeah, what's kind of funny is that I did not get the nice packaging that this one came with, because I got mine on eBay a few weeks after this series released, and it was like $20 above Newegg's price, I think, but Newegg was out of stock. Interesting part though, it just shipped in like an anti-static bag with some packing peanuts. I got no retail packaging. It was straight,
I mean, hey,
straight
works.
from an OEM. But yeah, you know, I didn't really need the box, whatever.
It's not like, you know, you could grab one off of our box wall behind you, but yeah.
But yeah, good choice. That's the point. Great for games, great for GPU, CUDA acceleration, and applications. Solid card. 10 out of 10.
Now I'm going to spend the next few minutes doing some preliminary cable management as our motherboard. You guys can see. Now in, RAM is installed, SSD, both installed. We are going to then throw in the 4 terabyte drive. I'm going to toss the...
Oh yeah, I want you to throw out drive, not throw. Gently placed because hard drives are fragile. I'll leave the hard drive.
well, I almost got it to you.
Then knock it over. Okay. Yep. Install these. Install this here hard drive on its vibration rubber kind of pads that they give you.
And those rubber pads don't actually do a crazy amount unless you're moving your system.
Yeah, but it, you know.
Like if you are moving, make sure you have those pads on there because that will save your data.
Yeah, well also, it's important to properly shut off every time, especially with hard drives, because when a hard drive gets powered off, when the system with the hard drive gets powered off, it does what's called parking the read heads. So they actually move the little spindle read heads that move back and forth like this. They actually move completely off the platters and get locked in a position off of them, so that if the drive gets bumped or dropped or whatever moving, the read heads cannot scratch the platters containing the data, and it's much less likely that they would be damaged.
So if you have a system crash,
Andrew.
I saw that. I saw it, Chris. But yeah, you were saying?
what did you say?
No, just keep going. We're good. Chris was feeding me info behind the scenes.
I was very confused.
Well, I gotta send him an emoji. Okay, there it goes.
Chris is subtly, not subtly trying to be a producer.
Yeah. We need some like cue cards he can write on. Oh, we should get a teleprompter. Actually, no. Let's get 2 matching cameras first.
Yeah, we need 2 matching cameras.
Anyway, do we put these? We put these in ports first, right? Like ports opposite side of the little tab handles.
Correct.
Yeah, that's okay. Go. Get a boy installed. Yeah, something hard drives fragile. Something.
Yeah, if your computer
Still-
crashes, try to. Well, I wouldn't say maybe not try to turn it back on.
Well, so I think when it has the power off signal, where the motherboard and everything gets powered off, I think it would still do it then, but like, just make sure you don't yank the cord out of the wall is the main thing. Or if you have a power outage, you know.
yeah,
don't go
just like
moving
full send.
Yeah, I mean, it'll still probably be okay, but like, you know.
Do you really want to lose all your photos?
No, you don't want to. It's not a good time to rescue data. I've had data losses before. It's not.
We did that. There was I remember. This was like catastrophic because my dad backed everything up on the computer,
Uh-huh.
but he didn't. This was
Did back up the.
He did back up the computer. Mind you, this was many years ago.
Yeah.
So he put, I mean, basically hundreds of gigs of photos, and
Yeah.
that's a lot actually.
Oh,
back
yeah.
then.
Oh yeah, there.
And yeah, we had a crash, and we literally lost like bunch of photos.
Yeah, and when you start talking about data recovery services where they, ideally it'd be a logical issue where they can just kind of remount it and pull data off.
Yeah.
But if you have a physical drive failure, that's going to be not only expensive but worrying because it's not always guaranteed that they can recover it.
And expensive.
So
Emphasis
back
on
up your data.
expensive.
Back up your data. RAID is not a backup solution.
Yep.
Andrew's lesson of the day. Even though I've used that one like 5 times.
That's fair. And if you're interested in getting a NAS backup, contact us.
Oh yeah, we can, or a RAID array, I guess.
Or RAID array.
Or
a
both.
RAID backup.
Yeah, or a separate machine to back up to.
And don't really know where to start, let us know. We shockingly know this kinds of stuff. You know,
Somehow.
it's kind of surprising.
Yeah, RAID 5, RAID 10, RAID 1.
Yep.
Not RAID 0.
Not RAID
It's
0.
not safe.
I mean, RAID 10 though. I mean,
RAID
you
10's
get
pretty
best
good.
of
I
both
like
worlds.
RAID 5.
Just you gotta,
RAID 5 and RAID 10 are roughly...
you just gotta double the amount of...
RAID 5 and RAID 10 are roughly equivalent. We just use a little different tech. But in the corporate world at least, and I would argue for home too, your data should be in no less than 3 places at any given time. On the machine it lives on, a cold offsite backup, so that's like on a USB drive that is not at the same physical address, and a separate backup, either a parity copy on the same machine, or ideally like an online, like Google Drive, Dropbox, like, you know, somewhere safe and private, but not even in your control necessarily as far as hardware goes. Yeah, you can never have too many
Don't
copies.
lose your data.
Never have too many copies. I'm not gonna use any names. At the computer shop I used to work at, we had a gentleman come in who owned a dentistry business, who had a old gateway, actually, who's no longer makes desktops, I don't think. It was like the cow logo gateway, like we're talking old gateway.
I know what you're talking about.
Desktop that he used for his dental business that had all his patient records from the previous 7 years on it. And they were nowhere else. It had not crashed yet. It was actually in for, I think you just want like a tune-up. You know, people think you just can't tune up.
They just do.
Basically just a Windows reinstall. But we ended up actually convincing him to get a separate RAID backup server kind of going. Because if something happened to that machine, if it was stolen or the hard drive completely died or flooding, whatever, that patient data is not something to trifle with, according to HIPAA. And I would say so too. Not only do you have to worry about losing that for yourself, you know, there's confidentiality issues, so yeah, it's a big thing. Just wrap it up,
Just
save
be
it
smart.
away.
That's all we're saying. Is just be smart. And if you don't know where to start, drop us a line somewhere, Facebook, something like that, and we can point you in the right direction where you need to go. So you're not risking your entire family's photos on one 10-year-old hard drive that's sitting
like a Toshiba 5400 RPM. Yeah. No. If you join our Facebook page, Top Flight Crew especially, I know we'd love to have discussions there.
Yep.
We get some tech questions every now and then. I answer a lot of them. I think to
You
the
do.
best of my abilities.
You do. You truly do.
Chris will tag me in them if I miss them. I usually answer within a day at least. But
Yeah, you're actually pretty decent. You'll just come out and be like, "Hey,
I do my best."
Such and such and such and such.
That was one thing working at a computer shop. People come in and just like ask you questions.
Yeah, and you
It's
just
like-
kind of have to know off the top of your head.
Yeah,
like,
or-
oh, well, this is the answer.
You have to know it, make it up so they believe it, or research it. Yeah.
Or figure it out.
Anyway.
But yeah, you typically run into the same problems.
Yeah. There's a finite amount of issues the average home user will run into. But yeah, Connor's getting that cable managed a little more, starting to look more like a computer we put out the door. And then he'll install the Kula. Kulada. Isn't that a drink? Like a fresh berry Kulada, something like that.
Could be.
I think it's similar to
You
margarita.
toss me that hard drive and emphasis on
I will
toss.
very carefully place the hard drive there.
Chuck it at Mach 7, please. No less.
Reminds me of physical hard drive destruction. So if you ever have to, if you're ever decommissioning this, I asked you if we installed it.
You
that
asked
way.
me. I told
Okay,
you wrong.
Here, I'll fix
got
it.
it.
Okay.
It's
I'll
just,
keep
it
rambling.
was just funny because I went to go put it in and I was like, well, that's a
I was
bummer.
trying to remember. Yeah. Well, I guess we can't go with this. Or can we hold
Sure.
screwdrivers? You want that blue one?
No, I got it.
Okay.
I actually got one.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, if you're decommissioning a computer with a hard drive, the only real way to make sure that data on that drive is wiped, you can't just format it. That's not 100% safe. It can be recovered pretty easily if you know what you're doing. Physical destruction of the hard drive is advised. So, be it with a hammer, a 308 rifle, fire, all three. Yeah.
All three at once?
Yeah.
You really want to make
I
sure?
think that's just thermite in a hammer. I don't know. Wait, what's that stuff you shoot with a gun and it explodes, but it's not really an explosive? They sell it in all the, like, Dick's and stuff. Dick's Sporting Goods. You know what I'm talking about. The white
Tannerite.
powder. Tannerite. There we go.
I was like, ah.
I don't know how effective that would be, but yeah. Hit your hard drive with that old claw hammer a few times, shatter
And
the
then
platters.
bring it to our friends at Triangle Recycle. Dude, get rid of it. Do not throw your electronics out.
Do they
for the
take
love
destroy
of God.
stuff to recycle too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they take anything. They take
Okay.
all
I
electronics.
didn't know if it was like working stuff or
No, they take everything.
Okay,
And
cool.
They'll figure out a way how to. Or they have all the proper channels. To
I
get
actually
rid
have
of
an old dual socket board that I need to take somewhere to recycle.
Like, just please don't throw away your electronics. Like,
Yeah, e-waste.
Seriously.
E-waste is not fun to deal with, and it's bad for the environment.
it's
because
very
we
bad.
don't- Hey, and there's some gold in it you can recover if you're really dedicated. Like all these contacts down here are plated in gold, and the GPU and CPU themselves usually have gold on it.
I watched a video of someone recover gold, and they took, I think, like 200
I watched-
Intel CPUs,
I think it
and they
was-
only got maybe like a very, very,
It
very
was a,
tiny.
Steve from Gamers Nexus has a video on his channel. He went to a factory in China where that's all they do is they take old like circuit boards basically and other components, strip not only gold but all the precious metals off of
Oh,
them,
wow.
and then form little ingots. So at the end he has like a 1 pound gold bar from all these motherboards, and it's a bunch of chemicals and processing that they try to do as safely as possible. It's very interesting. You can just kind of wash the motherboards in this slurry, and then all the gold falls to the bottom.
It's not as easy as, like, you cannot do this at home.
No, you can't just take your soldering iron and melt it off, unfortunately. Because most of these, like this is just gold plated. It's actually very little gold, but you know. It's also extremely hazardous stuff. Mess with PCBs.
Let the professionals do it. We're not the professionals.
No, we are not. Do not bring. Well, you can bring me your motherboards, but I will deplate them for you. I have a dual socket Opteron board. So AMD's previous line of servers. I'm pretty sure it's dead. I couldn't get it to post, but you need to take that somewhere for recycling. Yep.
Yep, almost done.
Cool.
We're getting there.
Cool. We're about 28 minutes, so I'll go ahead and re-announce this here computer. So this is El Rey Del Muerto, a multi-purpose workstation designed for Adobe Suite and 1080p 144Hz gaming. So yeah, Adobe Suite, 3D printed, laser engraving, bunch of VR stuff, gaming stuff, basically all the games. A Ryzen 7 3700X is the centerpiece, 8 cores, 16 threads, and a 2070 Super for all those gaming and GPU accelerated workstation tasks. A nice pairing there, along with dual NVMe drives, a 4TB hard drive, 16 gigs of RAM, good power supply, good case, all that good
I'm actually
stuff.
very sad that NVIDIA got rid of the Super.
Oh, you want a 3080 Super?
I love just every time someone says Super, I'm like, Super hot.
Yeah, I
like
think that's
every time.
I'm sure the owner of this build has played Super Hot, and I'm sure he'll think of that too. If you play more than an hour of that game, it'll be stuck in your head.
Oh,
Although, you just wait 6 months, we might get a 3080 Super.
true. I mean, there is rumors about it, but there's no
I feel like people
name.
forget that the 2070 was here first, and then they released the 2070 Super, which is a different SKU and a different line of products. Because the 2060 Super is more akin to the 2070. The 2070 Super is more like the original 2080. So it's basically step everyone up a step more.
It's
or less.
weird. It's
pretty close.
NVIDIA's.
But I hear
I
people
like them,
say,
but they're really aggravating on their naming schemes.
yeah, I'll hear people say, oh, like I bought a 2070 from Best Buy yesterday. I'm like,
Which
are you
one?
sure? Or did you buy 2070 or 2070 Super? I'm not just trying to be a jerk. It's actually a big difference.
Yeah, major difference.
So, yeah. Anyway. But I doubt they'll be releasing any new lines when they can't make enough chips of anything they have.
Yep. And AMD's announcement is the 8th.
AMD's.
AMD's.
Yes.
Hey,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
AMD's announcement is on the 8th. Keep that in mind. That'll pretty soon.
Thursday.
Yep.
Smack. Thursday.
Their stock is like through the roof today for some reason.
Really?
Yeah.
I own one share of AMD, so that's good to hear.
They were like, I got a notification of that because I've been throwing stock into it.
Robinhood.
Yeah, well, I've been throwing a bunch of stock into it because I knew their announcement's coming up.
I've just kept that one share. I've already doubled my money on that one share.
Yeah.
Because I bought it. I bought that before Ryzen 3rd gen, or slightly after, I think. But yeah, anyway.
Here we go.
October 8th.
Very nice. There's one cable, which is this one. This is our power supply cable. This is our graphics card cable. Have not tightened that one all the way down because obviously the graphics card's not in. I'm gonna toss in our CPU cooler and then toss it over to Andrew for boot and graphics card first, then boot. Preferably, hopefully, not gonna boot.
Graphics card, yes. Boot, maybe.
Boot potentially.
Usually, I would say 9 out of 10 boot first try.
Yeah. And then it's
the other one we have to find our. Actually, the last one was Dead Hardware.
Yeah, the last one was Chris's.
Not our
No.
phones.
Was it Chris's?
What?
Was yours the last DOA?
No, we had a different DOA board.
Oh, that's right. We had another DOA.
Yeah, it happens.
I'm still salty.
Yeah, it was actually really funny because Chris's motherboard was actually, I think, the first DOA that we had
First DOA
ever that we've had.
Was
for
it the same line of boards that we buy, or was it different?
Ultra.
No.
It was
an Ultra.
So it's higher than the Pro.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was pissed.
I'm still a little salty at you,
upset.
Asus. I'm a little salty at Asus. My X470 Pro board was not completely dead, but it would shut down my PC 3 to 5 times a day randomly. As soon as I replaced it, no more issues, nothing else changed. So I'm watching you, Asus. Do better.
I will say though, Asus won me back with their graphics cards.
Yes,
Especially with this one.
I've had great experience otherwise with Asus, but that one board was giving me troubles.
That's fair.
And to their defense, it's entirely possible I knocked a capacitor halfway off or something.
Yeah, it was like a scrap or something. Just like
I open my PC fairly often, so it's pretty possible.
Yeah, you're not free of sin here.
Yeah, believe me now.
I'm actually intrigued to see if Galax releases a Hall of Fame edition card.
Did you see the Gigabyte all white 3080?
No, I haven't seen that one.
It's up on PC Perfect now too.
Very nice.
It does look very nice. It reminds me of the Galax boards, which is why I said that.
Yeah.
I don't think the PCB is white, unless Chris can correct me. I think it's just the cooler that's all white. But Chris is vehemently clicking now to find out. He's searching Gigabyte RTX 3080.
RTX, the 3080.
Yeah, just like a white edition. It didn't even have like a cool name. It was just like white.
Yeah.
Vision? Oh, it's their Vision. Right. Okay, so they have a motherboard line of that same branding. That'll match. All white PC builds
white
coming in.
fans, white chassis.
I think the PCB is still black.
The PCB is probably.
PCB looks black.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me, but you can make white PCBs. Honestly, they don't look the best,
Yeah,
and it's
they
more
don't look
expensive. So like,
The backplate is silver.
Ooh, that'll work nicely with their with not only with silver tower coolers, but also their own Vision D line of boards. You get some nice the Ripjaws what's Trident Z Royal
the silver
the
ones.
silver plated. Ooh, there's a build steaming here. I'm feeling it. Stewing, whatever.
Bitwit just did it. Prometheus is what he did, so it was all chrome. Every part that he could get chrome, including the tubes, were chrome. It was actually pretty impressive. I mean,
yeah, that's not bad. Linus did that with all RGB, even though water cooling fittings had RGB.
I remember those. I remember when those were
and
like
shines
a big
into
thing.
the tube.
Yes, it's pretty cool. I remember when those were huge, but they never took off, and I was kind of sad about it because I was like, that's actually genius because you could change different colors of your loop.
It is cool.
Well, what was cool about them is one of the features was there's you could do temperature sensors on them.
Yeah.
And then you could have the colors change depending on where your heat is going.
Hot, yeah, that's alright. That's
but
pretty cool.
I don't want to do one cable for every fitting.
Yeah, that, and as someone who has slept with RGB unicorn vomit in their room, it gets very tiring. The novelty wears off rather quickly when you have a ton of RGB.
But you just don't put it to sleep.
I didn't then. So this
That's
is
your
a
issue.
this is a triple slot graphics card, so I removed 3 PCI Express covers there. Chauncher. There you go. At that time, I don't think I put my PC to sleep hardly ever. Actually, now I shut it down every night. Fully.
I turn mine completely off every
Yeah,
night.
but the only reason for that is that I'm now paying the power bill. So.
That's fair.
Even at idle, my machine uses
I just
like
do it
100
because
watts.
I'm paranoid about my computer like dying from a like power surge.
Ah.
Even though it's on a battery backup.
Yeah,
but-
I'm literally on a surge protected UPS. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, I am too, but I'm still just like, you know, just in case.
I'm more worried about like a flood or something, or someone breaking in and stealing it.
It's fair.
So, yeah.
Ba-doop.
Yes, Discord.
I was like, yeah, that's a Discord notification.
It's probably I'm probably being tagged either because they want to go roaming on Rust, my friends, or we're being raided on Rust. I will find out later.
See, I've gotten back into Overwatch and Star Wars Squadrons. Has been actually a lot of fun.
I'm actually dropping back out of Overwatch groove now a little bit because of Squadrons and Rust. So.
Yeah, I can see that.
Squadrons is very fun. It's not
a game though that I can sit there and play for like 4 or 5 hours.
That's what I was about to say. It's like it's good for you play a few games and then you go play something else. You make some dinner. You know.
Yep.
It gets kind of tiring and a little bit repetitive depending on what you're playing.
Nice.
Still a very good game. I like it, especially in VR. You're gonna have to try that soon.
Yeah, we'll have to try the VR.
Okay.
I kind of want to try it on the projector and see how that'll work out.
All right. So our graphics card is now installed. So I'm
What
gonna
do you think?
fish around for a power cable. Plug her in and see what she do.
Full set.
Do I get any more?
Oh, you're
That's
pushing
what I
it.
get. I need longer cable. Chris, 10-foot power cable, Amazon. Okay, and here she goes.
$6. I bought one for my projector.
So, did we put it back on right? There it goes. Now it's clicking. It wasn't clicking at first. Okay.
Power supply.
Nothing yet. Power supply is switched. Is this cable still plugged into?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me reset that a little bit.
Wah, wah. The
I think it's the power button.
the power button, the little thing may have come loose on it.
Yeah.
Because the power button was really kind of tight when I put it in the little the sleeve, and it was kind of different.
Take a quick look at that while Connor distracts you all.
Kick the power supply off so you don't do a shocky shock.
Ah,
Or the lights on the motherboard.
no. It tries to, but then cuts off.
That's interesting. We jinxed it with the
Yeah.
with the we get perfect parts. No, this is odds are probably user error, probably me plugging in a cable. Maybe the 24 pin isn't seated all the way correctly. Should be though.
Let's try manual short here. Did I turn it back on? Yeah, I did. Yeah, nothing.
So it is a power
I
button.
guess I was hitting the wrong one. Yeah, I think it's the power button, it's just misseated, so we'll fix that, of course.
Yep, and we'll fix that
Mm.
off stream.
Turn this
So
on.
what Andrew did is there's basically a bunch of little pins at the bottom right hand of the motherboard where all of your all of your basic lights
Front
and
controls,
buttons and,
yeah.
and things plug into. But again, they're just a button, so it's just crossing a positive and a negative. So Andrew took a screwdriver and carefully poked the incorrect pins, and then carefully poked the correct pins.
I think I hit the LED first.
You probably did hit the LED, but it worked. It is
Yep.
turned on now, power cycling, going through and doing some memory training. It sounds like it probably posted. It leveled out pretty decently, so
DRAM, GPU, yep, there goes, poop.
perfect.
So yeah, that's that. We'll of course fix that on stream as before it goes through our stress testing even, but
And then we
Yep.
will do all of our OS install and stress testing off stream.
Yep.
So,
So yeah, that has been Rey Del Muerto. So if you guys want more of this, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube, check out our website, topflightpc.com. You can see more builds, contact us for a quote, read some reviews.
write a review.
Yeah, well if you're a customer.
If you're a customer.
Um,
All of our, 109, I think, Google reviews.
Nearly
now.
120.
Really? We're 120 now?
yeah.
Almost.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
All 5 stars, right?
Yeah.
All 5 stars. So yeah, check us out. Don't take our word for it, take theirs.
Yeah.
And yeah, we will be back in the hopefully near future. I don't think we have it scheduled quite yet, our next build, but make sure to follow us on those so you see when that's coming up.
Indeed.
Yep.
And we will see you next time. Goodbye.